Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Uncle Larry. God, man, why do I call myself that? Who the fuck came up with that? Uncle Larry. Sounds like some dirty uncle that you don't want to come to the family get-togethers. Some jokes just get out of hand, friends, and there ain't no stopping them. If I knew I was going to have to come up with a moniker for this show, I probably wouldn't have chose Uncle Larry, but hey, who gives a fuck? Some numbnuts put the strings on this thing with the locking. But yeah, how you doing, friends? I just wanted to check in with you and join you to invite you along to. This is kind of a boring task, but I figured, what the hell? If you got nothing else to do, might as well come along for the ride. I promise you, this won't be a very exciting video. So, if you feel like you should probably go mow the lawn or something, go ahead and do that. I'll check back with you later when I got something really exciting to say. Okay? Me trying to get these badly tied strings off of this thing is probably not going to be what you need to get through today. But this paleboard is, this fretboard, there's a Freudian slip there, paleboard. This fretboard is about as pale as Gus's face from never leaving the basement. You see it? The basement of his mom's house. But I'm thinking I could maybe tidy that up a little bit. It probably won't change much with some oil, but let's just see what happens. These are like 9s on here anyway, so they gotta go anyway. Anyhow, another day of Keith Urban today, so should be great. He's making a super fun record and challenging. The record that we're working on is very challenging. I had to use every brain cell I had yesterday, which ain't many. But man, he's just a sweet guy and he's funny as hell. I'll tell you, some of the jokes and the banter in between takes is pretty damn funny. He's a quick-witted fella, he is. As is Greg. Help me. Is it Koch? Greg Koch? I think that's right. Greg Koch. He's been texting me lately because I'm going to sit in a few songs with him tomorrow. And he's a funny cat. His texts are hilarious. And he has great command of the English language. He apparently went to a private school. That's what I would guess. Because he says things like, "You wielded that axe yesterday with great aplomb." And he says, "Join us for a repast." So, I appreciate that. It reminds me of Bubba, my friend up in Cleveland, who every time I talk to him, at least once in a 30-minute conversation, he'll bust out some ancient word that I've never heard anyone else say. And I stop him, like, "What did you just say?" And he'll say, "Oh yeah, it's so-and-so." And I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" All these amazing words that no one uses anymore, they're all based in Latin. You guys know that, right? Latin is the mother language that we took all this shit from. And I'm sure Greg knows that. Both Gregs. I do appreciate a man who has great control of the English language, because it's a tough language. And I have even more respect for people that can speak 4 or 5 languages, like when you go over to Europe. That blows my mind. It makes me feel like an absolute child. When somebody can talk to you in 5 different languages, I can't imagine how that's even possible. I mean, I have a hard time playing in a slightly different tuning. It's amazing. How do people do that? It's insane. I can't understand how that's even possible. How do they have enough time in life to learn 5 languages? And there's just 1 out of every 3 people you meet over there in Europe can do that. It's amazing. Slightly strange design here. I mean, you'd have to admit. Sort of catches on there. You know, everybody talks shit about these Rickenbacker bridges, but they're not that bad. Let's do a quick review, friends. You know how I always said that all these cool old guitars have the parts on them all have nicknames. Remember how I told you that? The most obvious one is what? What do they call these types of pickups? If you don't know this, you probably should go watch another channel because you did not pass the test. They're called toaster tops because they look like toasters. And there's a funny name for these really retro knobs. You know what they're called? That you only find on these Caprice. They're called oven knobs because they look like old oven knobs. And bizarrely, these guitars are so weird, man. 2 of the knobs, to get to 10, you turn them clockwise, and then 2 of them, you turn them counterclockwise to get to 10. Whoever came up with that idea, they need to be fired immediately. Very strange. No, you could play this guitar for 100 years and still be confused by that. But some things we just leave them as they were because that's just how they were. But I wouldn't recommend that on a new design. Let's just put it that way. A lot of great ideas throughout the history of guitars. A lot of really bad ideas, too. Great idea. How about the Bigsby? Let's just throw that out there as a great idea. Paul Bigsby. I'll bet he was fun at parties. I've heard from many different accounts that he was a true Renaissance man and a very interesting dude. I'll bet he was cool. It reminded me of the book I read about the guy that built those Italian guitars, Vandre Divoli. He was apparently a very interesting fellow too, Renaissance man. And everybody wanted to be like Paul Bigsby, from what I've been told. And he was a motorcycle enthusiast, very cool guy, very handy with the metal machinery. He probably had an awesome garage. Like anybody that does that kind of shit. You know, their garage man cave is awesome. They got all the right shit. Cool stuff. Bubba's house that I grew up going into, you know, in Cleveland. He had all the coolest shit down in his basement. Tools and parts and amazing shit. Well, this might help a little. Make it look a little less pale. I still want to put a light coat of lacquer on this, I think. Just to give it that retro look. But this board is super dry. Holy shit. I can hear it going, thank you. You know, these Rickenbackers, there's lots of debate about how it's pronounced. Some guys say Rickenbacker. But I like to say Rickenbacker because that's what I've always said. I don't care if it's wrong. Some guy tried to correct me in the comments section, some know-it-all. So I'm just going to continue saying it the wrong way just to piss him off. Because anytime someone tells me I'm doing something wrong, I immediately become 5 years old. And I just want to do it just to spite them. All right, that's looking a little better. Wow. Holy shit. If it stays like that, that looks right. I may not have to finish it. Look at that. Holy shit. Maybe it was just dry. Well, they definitely sanded the finish off it when they did the frets, because they always had a finish on these boards. I've never seen one that didn't. Correct me again if I'm wrong out there, Rickenbacker enthusiasts, but I've never seen one without a finished board. But wow, that's cool. It looks pretty good. I just put your basic, you know, whatever these fucking, this shit is. Everybody's all picky about, what kind of oil do you use, Larry? What kind of beard oil do you use? It's just that regular shit that I got for free. I'm also, while I'm here, I don't want to take this guard off too many times because the way this is mounted, all these screws do is just go into the wood. And if you do that too many times, guess what's going to happen? They're not going to tighten anymore. And then you're going to be in a whole nother world of hurt. But this bridge, this is a good example. I noticed yesterday, I did have the wrong gauge on there, but I noticed even with the gauge of strings, this G wouldn't go back far enough. So I may cut that spring. Let's see how far I can get it to go back without cutting the spring. Let's just see what we got. All right, it's going. Take it all the way back. And then we got something to work with. Here's a good way to cut your finger. I've done this plenty of times. If you try to hold a piece in your hand and you try to put a screw in it and then it slips and cuts the shit out of your hand. I've been there. That's really tight. Yeah, just like I just did. Okay, so let's put a little oil on that. I've got a little 3-in-1 around here somewhere. Let me spray it with the old corporate WD-40. Let's see what it does. Let's spray it with that. Let that sit for a minute. WD-40 is a magical concoction. It's great for everything. It's great for cleaning stuff. You know, you're getting stickers off of stuff. I do love me some WD-40. It smells good too. Did you ever notice that? I love the way it smells. A smart man would try to tighten a screw like this. That is not turning. Holy shit. Let's see if this bigger driver would help the situation. There it goes. It's turning now, friends. It's a lot easier to go forward than it is to go back. So let's take them all back. Let's see if we can get this thing in tune. We gotta use the big screwdriver for this job. Okay, that's looking right. Let's take these back too. WD-40, man. That shit works. That's starting to look like it might intonate. We did one song yesterday in the studio that required the use of a 335 middle sound, you know, kind of an old R&B vibe. And my only 335 is in the shop at the moment, getting refretted. It's actually that mono 59 355 that I recently bought, which is my only 335. Fantastic guitar, and I am so excited to get it back. Really looking forward to getting that one back from the boys at Groons. It'll be a special day when that happens. All right, I'm a tool thrower. Did you see that? I do that. I get done doing it, I just throw the tool. I've always done that. Okay, look at that. See, this is how this is what you want, friends. There you go. With a set of 10s, that's going to tune up beautifully. I already know it. I already know it. And these, what's wrong with this bridge? Okay, yeah, it rocks a little bit, you know, side to side, but that's all right. When you get string tension on there, it just stays put. Look at that board, friends. It's staying dark. It looks good. These were big money guitars when they came out. These were not for the poor man. The price of these guitars, I do believe, was higher than Gibson's. They were. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. I think in the catalog, these were more money than your standard Gibson, comparable Gibson. Let's see. All right. Let's put a set of strings on here. People have been asking me about that chopped up black 63 SG that I showed you from the hotel room, from one of the guitars I found on the great blood-soaked guitar finding orgy of 2025. That's what I call this tour. We're actually gonna get t-shirts made. No, I'm kidding. But that black SG, everyone says, are you playing that? Oh my God, that guitar. I've been using it most of the show. It sounds unbelievable. Those fucking PAFs with no covers. That guitar just kills, man. The neck pickup is to die for. When I go to do those super low, twangy baritone notes with that thing, man, it sounds amazing. I'm using that on a lot of songs that I used to use the other guitars for, and it just sounds better than most of them. And it plays amazing, and it's just a cool guitar. That's definitely, you know, it just goes to show you that you should never. I know it seems ludicrous at times to keep searching, you know, when you've already got a bunch of amazing instruments and things like that. I know we all feel that feeling like, fuck, man, why am I going to buy another guitar? I've already got all the cool shit. But you know what? There is always room to improve. Even if you think you've got the best so-and-so or whatever, you're going to find one eventually if you keep looking that is better. Like, I've never had I've had a million old SGs. Never had one that sounds as good as this one, this chopper right now. Never. So like, I'm glad I kept searching. I could have given up a long time ago. But you know what? You never know what you're going to find out there, man. You just never know. And it sure is fun looking. And the thing about guitars that's great, this is the thing. This is what the wives don't understand. You know, it's not like you're wasting your money. You're buying shit that you can. The only time you waste money buying guitars is when you buy brand new dumbass guitars and you pay, you know, full pop at a music store. You're never gonna get that back. But if you buy guitars wisely, buy used guitars, you're never gonna lose money unless you're an absolute dumbass. So it's not even like you're spending money. You're just allocating some of the family funds into some guitars. And if you ever want out of them, you can sell them. It's, you know, as long as you didn't buy a bunch of horse shit that nobody wants. But man, I just don't understand. Like, we've got, I won't mention any names, but there's a fella that I know, younger fella, amazing musician. And he's saying that there's, you know, this is some items that he'd like to purchase for his craft, and when he's very worthy of these items because he's a fantastic musician. But his wife keeps giving him shit about not letting him buy stuff because she controls his family finances and all that shit. And I told him, I said, honey, do not put up with that shit. Do not. I would never in a million years, I don't give a fuck how hot she was, never let a woman tell me that I could buy or not buy something. I mean, that would be an immediate 15-yard penalty, red flag, you're out of here forever. I remember when we first got married, my dear beloved ex-wife, who I'm still on great terms with, she suggested a few times that maybe we combine our finances and stuff like that. And I was just like, yeah, no. there's just some things that an old Slovenian won't do. And one of those things is let a woman tell him what he can and can't buy. Yeah, it sounds a little crude, I suppose, but that shit don't fly with me. I'm not trying to be a tough guy, friends. I'm just telling you, that's my life belief there. I buy whatever the fuck I want to. And I suggest you do the same. Because like I said, these are not bad investments. It's not like you're pissing this money away at the blackjack table. You know what I'm saying? But just buy what the fuck you want. And that's my advice. Probably get some of you guys in a world of trouble, but try that shit when you get home. That's just how I roll. I remember one time my ex-wife years ago, her money was a mess, and she so she hired some guy, like a financial advisor guy, to help her get her money in order, which I think is a smart move. And then he started asking her about my stuff, like, do you think your husband would be interested in sort of getting involved? And she told him straight up, she was like, no, he's like an old school gangster when it comes to money. He doesn't want anybody to know what he's doing. He deals mostly in cash. No one really knows what's going on with him. I think he likes it like that. And that is a fact, friends. That's just how I do it. Maybe I'm not alone. Maybe there's some old school guys out there that join me in that cause. It's funny when I roll these cameras. Lord knows where my brain's gonna go. You never know where you're gonna end up. If somebody would have told me I'd be talking about that in this video. But that's just how the stream of unconsciousness works. You just get going. One thought inspires another. That's how my brain works. Same thing with music. When I start playing, one thing that I play leads to another thing. And then that I can actually see it when I watch back these videos. I can actually see my brain click into a new gear, like a transmission on a car. Like I'll be playing something, and one thing I play inspires, and I'll just go second gear, click. I could see it happen on the screen, like, because I know the way my brain works. You know what's also funny too? I've been meaning to tell you guys. Sometimes if I ever do watch back one of these videos, one that I've done like ages ago that I forgot I even did, right? A really old one. I'll be playing something in the video and it's total improv. And I'll play something and I immediately know where I'm going to go next because it's the same reflex muscle that I used in the first place. And like, sure enough, if I play something, it's probably going to go to that chord, and sure it does. Every time, like, it's always right. Like I'm very consistent with what voice leading leads to what, right? I bet you we all have that. We all have that sort of. There's certain things that's always going to remind us of this chord, this note at this time is going to send your brain into a certain place because of whatever records we grew up listening to, whatever it reminds us of. It's all in there, man. And we don't even know where it's coming from. Like, I don't even know why I have to play that note after that note. But there is a reason. Probably from some record that I loved, that I heard a million times. That kind of thing. It's fascinating, really. It's all like recall, Your brain is just a magnificent computer that, it's just amazing the shit that's stuffed in there. How does this big piece of meat that's just stuck inside your skull compute with that much power? It's incredible. It stores memories. It retains so much, and it's just a chunk of meat being powered by no gas or electricity. How the fuck does that all work? You ever stop and think about that, friends? And then you got to think about shit like this. Like, we were driving home yesterday, or a couple days ago with the boys, and I looked up at the sun, and I was like, Leo was like, man, you can actually look at the sun today. And I was like, really? Yeah, it was a weird, like, red sun, and you could just look at it. Like, it didn't hurt your eyes. And I thought, I said, boys, you ever think about the fact that we spend every day of our lives with a giant heat lamp above our head that we can't even look at, and nobody thinks it's weird? We're basically like lizards in a lizard cage with a giant heat lamp above us that we can't even look at because it's so intense. But we're just going about our business like, so where are you having lunch, Fred? You ever think about that? Kind of fucking weird, ain't it? I guess this is what you call Uncle Larry getting existential. But hell, what the fuck else are we going to talk about? We're changing strings on a piece of California history here. Did you guys watch that Vietnam movie yet? That series I told you about? Turning Points? I watched more of it last night. Fascinating. Unbelievable show. You got to check it out. Man, I could already tell this guitar is way more alive with some strings that aren't made of spider webs. And that board looks pretty good. What do you think, man? I may not even have to finish it. It looks pretty good. Okay. You know, and another thing too, you know, along those lines, you know, I'm not trying to sound like some tough guy, but like with the, you know, no woman's ever going to tell me what to buy. But I also am a big believer that unless it's completely out of control, I don't care what the woman that I'm with buys. Like, you know, Sarah would buy crazy things once in a while, and I'd be like, go for it. You know, I'm not going to try to tell you what to do. You know, you shouldn't buy that. I might get involved if it was a car and she was about to buy some, you know, because she didn't know nothing about cars, you know. If she was about to waste money on some piece of shit car, I might step in for a minute and go, well, you should maybe consider a different car. But that's it. I mean, I never care what anybody buys. Live your own life, man. You know, I got, you know, the boys have their own bank accounts, and I'll let them buy things with their own money. You know, I'm not going to tell anybody how to live. If you ask me, I'll give you a little advice. Maybe you should buy this one, not that one. This is cool. This thing's feeling really good. Wow. This helped. Now all it needs is to get that damn cap cut off, and we'll be sessioneering with this thing. There was one guy in the comments that said yesterday, I know you're gonna hate this, but I think it sounds really cool with that cap on the bridge pickup. Whatever, yeah, okay. I get it. But the thing is, wouldn't you want it to be at its full range, you know? Like, that's my thing. Like, it'd be like, it's like there's a switch on your car that stops it from going 100 miles an hour and makes it only go 35. And some people would say, I kind of like it when it's on the switch that only makes it go 35. I want it to go 100, friends. Speaking of which, going 100, sent the Hellcat off with my guy, my car guy, and should be back any day now, and fixing up that little unfortunate scrape, putting some new plates on it. Got the black key now, black and red key, both keys. Maybe I should have him put that high dollar alarm on there. You think I should? There's a high dollar alarm that you can have installed that makes sure nobody ever steals that car. I might do that. I'm glad you reminded me. Now I got that oil over my hands. Let's see how I did on the old intonation. And also, let's see if our amp is making that creepy ass noise it was making. Okay. Okay. We're in the tone zone now, friends. Damn close. Pretty damn close. D's got to come back. G's got to come back. Just a tinge more if possible. See if we can do that. And D's got to definitely come back. Get that going. Yeah, it turns out that those strings that are on that ES 150 I was playing last night that I wasn't sure about at first, those are definitely the Tomastic jazz swing 12s. You know, I've always known that Tomastic makes great flat ones, but I don't think I've ever tried them. But man, that's my string from now on when it comes to flats. Okay, now we're in tune. A's got to come back a little bit. Just a little bit on the A. He's going to rock that a little bit too. Take this B back a little more. Actually, I can just rock it. Let's take the Z back. Tinge more. Let's see. friends. All right, I hope you enjoyed my nonsensical ramblings for today. I hope you guys have a great day.